Hello, Daily Drafters. Today is Friday, April 15th, and thanks for joining me for today's Daily Draft. As we hop in today's Daily Draft, we'll start as we always do by giving a special thank you to each and every one of those subscribers for choosing to spend a part of your day here with me today. And for all of you who are not yet subscribed, we'd love to have you on board, so go ahead and click that red subscribe button attached to or underneath this video. It's absolutely free, never cost you a dime, and you'll then have access to the most consistent, high-quality MTG Limited content on YouTube. We've got our very final Neon Dynasty draft here today. It's been a fun format. I think this is our 36th draft of the format here on the channel. So again, if you're not subscribed and you like draft content, we do a ton of them here, so you definitely get to see as many as you would like. Got 36 drafts under our 35 under our belt, 36 total, one more to go. So here we go. Let's dive on in with either Touch the Spirit Realm or Okiba Reckoner Raid. There's also March of the Swirling Mist, but I don't know if I want to take that necessarily. Pack one, pick one over one of these two cards. I think I'm going to land on, I don't know, this is close. I think I'm actually going to land on Touch the Spirit Realm. Green-white is great. Touch the Spirit Realm is just a great removal spell. It can go in a black-white deck as well. So I think we'll just start there. Speaking of going in a black-white deck, this is easily between Twisted Embrace and Naomi. And I think I'm going to take Twisted Embrace over Naomi here, because sometimes these gold cards wheel if people don't get into these specific color combinations. That's not to say Naomi will here, but I think just showing up another good removal spell can only be good for us. So we'll take that here, and then we have Circuit Mender versus Imperial Oath. Because we've already got a Twisted or Touch the Spirit Realm, I'm going to go ahead and take the Imperial Oath. Definitely do like Circuit Mender, but you can't pass it over an Imperial Oath. This card is insane and is very, very good. One of the best commons, if not the best common in the format. So we got a decent little start here. Decent little black-white start with a great common couple removal spells. So let's keep it rolling. I think later today is when the full spoiler drops for Streets of New Capenna. So next week is going to be a content-filled week for all of you. So definitely make sure that you are tuned into the channel to make sure that you are going to be ready for all that content to be hitting your screens when you're ready. All right, we've got Norika Yamazaki. We've got another Imperial Oath and a Spirited Companion. This one's a little more difficult between a second Oath and a first Companion. I think I'm going to take the first Companion here. Imperial Oath is still this late in the format. The last day of the format for us is still going too late. I mean, we're going to pass it pick 5 here. Definitely wouldn't mind a Norika in this deck either, but shoring up that first Spirited Companion in any white deck is pretty important. So we're going to make sure we get that one here. So now we have Tawashi Guidebot, Fall of Lord Konda, Mothrider Patrol, Inkrise Infiltrator. There's a lot of decent cards here. Moon Circuit Hacker and Fang as well, but I think I'm going to land on Guidebot over a main deck Fall of Lord Konda. This card's been a little underwhelming in the main deck. Don't really think we need a Mothrider Patrol or any of these black cards. So I'm going to take the Tawashi Guidebot here as a card that can help us go into the late game if we need to with some extra card draw. I already have one way to modify creatures here. And now there's Bloodfell Caves for a potential splash. There's Companion and also Repel the Vile. I've actually liked Repel the Vile in this format. I don't know if I want it over Companion, though. I think I'm actually going to take the Companion here. It does count as another artifact in our deck, which we were going to have 3 enchantments and 2 artifacts, which is good for Kami of Terrible Secrets. It's good for Naomi, all those cards in black-white that care about that. Now, this is an interesting pick. So we've got Gravelighter versus Exploit versus Mukotai Ambusher. And I'm not exactly sure what to land on. If we didn't already have 2 really good removal spells, I'd probably take Exploit, but I think I'm going to land on Gravelighter here as the card with the highest upside. I think Ambusher only goes in very specific decks, and I don't think this is that deck so far. So we're going to take the Gravelighter here. Now there's a network terminal versus a decoy. I think I'll take my first terminal because decoys, we can kind of get as many of those as we want in general. Does not always guarantee you see a network terminal. So we'll take the artifact in the network terminal here. And I would love to see a containment construct come in pack 2 or 3. I think pick 10 is when the Naomi would wheel here. But I'm not sure it will. So Blossoming Sands for a splash is probably what we're going to take because we're not going to play Light the Way. So if we get some green card we want to splash, we can play it off of that. Naomi did not come back, but that's not that's not necessarily expected. So we'll go ahead and just put that card straight into the sideboard, and we know we're competing for someone with someone else at least for black-white, unless they just speculated on a Naomi and moved off of it. But black-white's a strong enough deck that we can think we can make that work. Raito Sentinel over Kami of Restless Shadows here, I guess. Maybe there's an argument for just taking a Grafted Growth, because I don't think we're not playing that card. So Return to Action, sure. Kaido's Pursuit. I've never even played a Reckoner's Bargain in the format, so I don't think we need to. Blade Blesser's not a bad pickup here, and then a land. So let's see if pack 2 can find a direction for us, and we start with Invoke Justice. Return target permanent card, and then distribute 4 +1/+1 counters among creatures or vehicles. That's great. There's an Arrest, there's a Beetle, there's a Naomi, there's a Haven. I mean, we kind of have it all here. I mean, what are we returning at this point? Nothing outstanding. Maybe an Embrace or something like that. I think this card is powerful, but it puts constraints on your mana, obviously. So I think I'm actually going to take the Naomi here and look to wheel Arrest, Beetle, or Haven. But it's unlikely we do one of those, but those are what I'm going to go for. And I think Naomi's really, really good in this particular style of deck. So we'll take that here. Now we have Reliquary, a splashed Gloom Shrieker, which right now can get back an Embrace if it dies. 4 enchantments. Companion if that dies. Spirit Realm. And Grafted Growth probably not being played. There's also just Sunblade Samurai. I think Gloom Shrieker has the highest potential on the splash here. So we'll go ahead and take Gloom Shrieker. Light Paws doesn't really have a home in this format. So we'll take Gloom Shrieker because we already have a Blossoming Sands if we want it. Now there's Shrine Steward to go find our Twisted Embrace. And Walking Skyscraper. Don't really have a lot of ways to modify right now. Guidebot is a way. I guess I'll take my first Shrine Steward here. And another Twisted Embrace, I think is what we're going to take because we picked up that Steward over a second Gravelighter. So we'll take that Embrace here. It also modifies a little bit for us as well. So I think we're just going to end up being black-white here. And probably splashing a Gloom Shrieker. If we get enough enchantments we want to bring back from the yard. So here we have a second Shrine Steward, but I don't think we need that when there's a card as good as Sunplate Samurai here. So we're just going to snap up the Samurai and move on. Another Naomi. That's great. Over Wanderer's Intervention, Lethal Exploit, Scrounger, but we're definitely taking the Naomi here. We have 6 and 4, so we do need to up our artifact and enchantment count to make sure these are both good. Unfortunately, really nothing here for us. So we're just going to take the black card, put it into the sideboard. Brute Suit is an artifact, but I don't think it's one we necessarily want to play. I mean, we can, and we have a companion. If we pick up a beetle or another companion, a couple of cheaper cards like that, we could consider playing this as an artifact. I think this is the pack we wanted. Any one of those, you know, Beetle or Companion or Uncharted Haven or any of those cards to wheel, but none of them did. So we'll just take the 2-drop enchantment creature here and probably not run it, but we'll see. I guess we could take Reliquary over Dragonfly Suit and Kaido's Pursuit. I don't think we're going to play a second return to action, and doubt we're even going to play a Kitsune Ace, so we'll just take the 2-drop and see if we need to run it. Our curve is looking a little funky right now, but things have been worse. And we'll just take the artifact. And let's see what comes here to finish out pack 2. Nothing really. We'll just pass the red. And pack 3, we have, oh my word, all of the cards here. So, Soul Transfer. Great card, obviously. We currently have 5 and 7, which is not bad. There's also Life of Toshiro Umezawa, Twisted Embrace, Naomi, and Jungle Hollow. And I'd probably play a Wanderer's Intervention in this deck. I think I'm going to land on Soul Transfer over Life of Toshiro here. But I would essentially take this pack, wrap it up, put it into our pile, and say thanks for the draft, good night. But unfortunately, I don't think we can do that. And I think all of these cards are going to be gone. So we're hoping this won't wheel, this probably won't, this won't, and then we're hoping we get a Jungle Hollow or a Wanderer's Intervention. So we'll take the Soul Transfer, but you hate to see all those good cards in the same pack, because then we get a pack like this where we can't play a single card in this entire pack. I mean, we can, but they're all bad. Seven-Tailed Mentor pick 2? Like, come on, why does it have to be like this? Sure, we'll take the Seven-Tailed Mentor. Need a couple more artifacts here. Would love a Containment Construct. That would be a good one. Probably going to have to play this Brute Suit based on how things are looking. There's a Kami of Terrible Secrets, an Era of Enlightenment. I think it's between the two of these. I think I'm going to land on the Enlightenment to help our curve out a little bit. Kami is a good card, obviously, but so is Era. Era is also a very good card, one of the top white commons, and it counts as an enchantment, which is important. So I think I'm going to land on the 2-drop over the Kami. And then we see Uncharted Haven. We'll just snap that up here over, well, there's Ninja's Kunai. We did say we want some more artifacts. We've only got 5 right now. So I think for that reason, I'm actually going to take the Kunai here. Yeah, I think that's what we have to do. Kind of up that artifact count. There's another kunai and a terrarium, I guess. I guess I'll take the second kunai. We're not, I mean, we have the splash here, so, well, maybe we could take the terrarium just for the Gloom Shrieker splash. It's also an artifact that just kind of sits on the battlefield if we want it to for double Naomi. So, we'll take the cheap artifact here. Another Searchlight Companion's not bad over a Clawing Torment. I think that's where I'm going to land. Got a lot of 3-drops here. Shrine Steward number 2 over Malicious Malfunction. Yeah, I think I'll just take the second Shrine Steward here. Nothing here. And then here's the wheel. What comes back? Jungle Hollow came back. So Naomi left, Twisted Embrace left, and the other white card, Intercessor's Arrest, left. But we'll take the Jungle Hollow. Don't think we're playing any of these. So we have Shrine Steward, and the only targets are Twisted Embraces, right? Yeah, 2 auras and no shrines. Don't know if we're going to want to run 2 of these or not. Might depend on where our artifact count lands. Unforgiving one. You'll be unforgivingly put into our sideboard here. That's a shrine, but not for us. I think we ended up with a little bit of a subpar black-white deck. We don't have all of the power necessarily. Didn't get any Kami of Terrible Secrets. Got a couple Naomis, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I think it's a little bit underperforming, but let's try to rack up some wins with it. Okay, so we've got... Right now, if we leave the mana situation as it is, we have 1, 7, 8, 9 white sources, 7, 8, 9, 10 black sources, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green sources. Do we even need to run this forest? Because then we would have 1, 2, 3 green sources for the Gloom Shrieker. I would like to run the Reliquary, I think. Let's see what our count ended up at. 9 and 8. That's pretty good. Probably don't need another Shrine Steward because we did get up to 9 artifacts. And it only finds Double Embrace. And I doubt we need a second return to action here. But other than that, that pretty much just looks like the deck. So we could consider cutting a forest in favor of an extra plains, I think. 14, 15, 16, 17. So we need one more cut. Is it just Seven-Tailed Mentor? Probably. I do like all the 5 drops. Down to 12 creatures, but we do have Imperial Oath, Brute Suit. Return to Action's actually not that great. I think I'd rather the other 4 drop over return to action here. That way we add to our creature count. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 removal spells, which is pretty good. Couple Naomis, ways to card draw, Terminal to loot, Imperial Oath. Yeah, it does some things. Plus a Reliquary to draw some cards if we need to. Yeah, absolutely. This deck can do some things here. So for our last Neon Dynasty draft of the format, if you would like to check out how this deck does in the gameplay, then go ahead and click the card in the upper right-hand corner right now. It'll take you straight to that video. There's also a link in the description to find the gameplay version, and also on your subscription feed, you should be able to find that video right next to this one. So yeah, thanks so much for sticking around to the end of the very last draft of Neon Dynasty, and I'd love to see you over there taking a look at how this deck does in the gameplay. Thanks so much. See you there.